Hello everybody, welcome back to the Friendsims. I realized as soon as I stopped the video last time that I forgot to ask what Tagora's sign meant. And as it turns out, having looked it up during the break, he is a Liga. He is a dirt streamer, and his aspect is space. Liga, sign of the dogged, that is Tagora, which actually seems like a fairly fitting title, the dogged. Anyway, we are now moving on to Vikare. Vikare? Yeah, I still don't really know. Don't really know how to pronounce that one. I'm going to go with Vikare. I mean, yeah, let's go with Vikare, because he's got like a pilot thing going on, so Vikare. Yeah, Vikare. Sure. Vikare sounds good. Vikare Ratite. It's probably best for you to stop trying to predict what's going to happen to you at this point. Everything that's happened so far in this plan has been kind of chaotic. In fact, you're ready for something more familiar. You head back to the site of your abandoned spaceship. Sure, it's smashed beyond repair, but that's a little slice of home. Where is your home anyway? Like, you've hinted that you're from Earth, but how the hell did you end up here? Maybe at least one or two pieces of it are fixable. You march off in what you think is the right direction. Vikare is what I'm hearing in chat. It sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable. But when you get there, you're not alone. A little guy in a hat and big goggles is standing there, gazing at your spaceship, maybe assessing it. As you watch, he breaks off a couple gears and stuffs them in his pockets. Hey! You clear your throat loudly. Good galloping gravy! Why, I've never seen the likes of you before. What strange wonders the heavens have rained down upon us this day. You quickly lose any indignation you were building up. He's smiling at you, as words seem at least somewhat amicable. Maybe you got this all wrong. Maybe this is the next person you're going to get chummy with. You cut right to the chase. No point beating around the ground leaf covering. That's probably what they call it on this planet. You let this guy know that you're the proprietor of the spaceship he's stripping, and you're in mighty need of a new friend. A friend, eh? A bosom companion, a pal about town. I've seen nary Tom Mandicus or Harry Tom Mandicus or Harry around these parts who might fit that bill. That's clever because yeah, Tom, Dick, and Harry are not valid troll names, so they had to improvise. I like that. It's clever. You were kind of trying to imply that this guy could be your friend. Is it too late to say that now? You tried to imply that with your eyebrows. As for me, day-to-day matters here in Alternia interest me not. For I care only about hurtling at great speeds through the boundless expanse. I'm getting some serious Jake English vibes from this guy. Of the cosmos! That's right, space! It is space flight that consumes my every waking thought and all my ardor. As in accordance with my duty as a future Alternian Crusader, of course. No oxygen, no wind, a total vacuum. That's the life for me. That's the life for me, all right. Flying in space, above the atmosphere, not within the realm of gravity's purview. Wouldn't have it any other way. As someone who's played a lot of Kerbal Space Program, I can tell you that gravity is the single most important thing about spaceflight. just throwing that out there. just for the record. Right. You get the feeling you're missing something. This guy seems really defensive about his interest in spaceflight. Like maybe he's trying to say something totally different. Whatever it is, his internal conflict clearly takes precedence over your issues. Everybody seems to agree with me about the Jake vibes. He seems like a great candidate for a friend, despite the fact that his voice sounds like it belongs over a newsreel about World War II. I just have... it's like, well, now that I know that, I gotta actually try to do that voice. I just have one query for you, Spot, if I may be so bold. Do you also like spaceflight? Do you learn to see the moon shining above, the clouds whipping by you as you chase and tease the impish western wind? And then also keep going past that up into space? Well, I know what the right answer here, but I still gotta pick the wrong one just for the sake of, I don't know, whatever. Tell him you love spaceflight. Tell him you're not so sure about spaceflight. His eyes widen. You see them sparkle? Ah, I see. You're an individual with more sophisticated palate. A real connoisseur of the buoyant arts, you are. Someone like you could never be satisfied with the anemic affairs of traveling through the inky blackness of the galaxies. I believe a jaunt to my hive is in order. Wait, was this actually the right answer? What the hell? Let's get a wiggle on. There was a lot going on there, but you understand what that he wants you to follow him? I fucked up fucking up. The friendly guy takes you to a building where all of the rooms seem to be balanced on spindly-looking stilts. The hive soars above you up into the clouds. He gestures to a little platform attached to a pulley system, like a rudimentary elevator. It brings you up into a small, dark room. His house is pretty much what you would have guessed. The walls are covered in star maps and pictures of spaceships. You notice that many of them have cheery slogans splashed across them, saying things like, "Explore the galaxies because you're required to fulfill your duty to society," and "Enlist, travel, make friends, don't get culled." Your new friend doesn't seem too happy as he looks around the place. Just the high for a dedicated spaceflight enthusiast, isn't it? Spacecraft enthusiast? You nod, but you're not sure what this is leading to. But no one ever went wrong relying on non-specific and plausibly deniable agreement. This is another fun little irony. Sort of like how Surava is non-binary while Solix is very, very binary. We have this guy is a kind of a direct counter to Tavros, because like Tavros, of course, wanted to fly. You know, he had the whole thing about wanting to fly. Rufio literally had wings. Meanwhile, here's this guy who is hinting very strongly that his role in Troll Society is to fly, and he kind of hates it. So that's kind of funny. You nod. You're not sure what this is leading up to, but no one can get wrong. Nobody ever went wrong relying on non-specific and plausibly deniable agreement. Ah, who am I fooling? You've rumbled me, potential new chum. What you see before you is a collage of falsehoods. I'm nothing but an aviator of baloney. In truth, the myriad temptations and desires of space do nothing to tickle my biscuit. The thought of participating in the glorious eternal conquest gives me the screaming meanies. My interest lies in something a little lower down. He reaches up and peels back one of the posters. Behind it is another poster, this one showing the view of clouds in the night sky. Oh, he does still want to fly, just in, like, regular aircraft. Behold my shame. The truth is I long to toss and turn within the grasp of Mistress Gravity's sweet fingers. To traverse the sky. Can such a thing be? So he and Tavros are actually the same, they're just coming at it from different angles. They have different reasons why they can't fly, and so they're kind of meeting in the middle. Imagine flying within the confines of Eternia's very atmosphere, defying the very conventions of what we all know to be true. Instead of down, up. Instead of falling, soaring. Can you imagine? Can you see it before you? Could you ever dream of the existence of such a flying machine? Save. We're gonna have to go back and take that other failure state later. Tell him you've never heard of such a thing. Tell him airplanes exist. This is probably the right answer, but tell him you've never heard of such a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this option anyway. I think the second choice is the correct answer, but we're gonna stick with the first and see where this goes. Ooh. Ah, but the future is ours to build, my strange-hued and unhorned comrade. What do you think? Does it excite you? Do my ideas rattle your buttons? You can't help but notice that he's referring to as a chum and a comrade, but friend hasn't made an appearance yet. Do synonyms count? Or is it just a tick of his speaking style? Yeah, chat's freaking out because somebody mentioned that I messed up messing up, but like I figured that out like immediately before I even looked at chat, so it's no big deal, people. Can't help but notice that he's referring to you as Charming Conrad. Do synonyms count? He looks as earnest as you can, and not as you can. You look as earnest as you can, and not vigorously. You're almost positive that this is the thing he wants you to express interest in. Aha! The truth will out. You and I share this furtive passion for the indulgences of the air. Dialogue between the troll, a flying machine, and the stars. But further away from the stars than we would be in a spaceship. I cannot stress enough how different of a thing this is. You can't decide between nodding and shaking your head, so you furrow your brow and do your best to look thoughtful. Like maybe you are contemplating the differences. This fellow's demeanor towards you is definitely shading to be the most temperate climate zones. However, certain physical needs are starting to assert themselves. You're still pretty banged up from your previous adventures, but right now the aching in your stomach is screaming for attention. You humbly ask your friend to be if there might be any chance of getting a bite to eat. But of course! Why, if I'd known you had the rumbling in the indigestion bladder, I would have shut my yapper toot sweet. Time for a good old nosh, a yamarumi. What ho! Now how shall we attain the victuals? We could venture into the great unknown, which is to say, out of my hive. Or we could stay here, beholden to whatever twists and luck and turns Lady Luck has in store for us in the nutrition block. What do you say, new timer? Oh, hey, we have a third choice. What the hell's this? This is madness. What's going on here? This is new. This is new and scary. What ho? What ho is at least halfway to tally ho. I don't know, I'm just gonna keep picking the top choices, I think. Go out and look for food, see where the hell this goes. From your budding chum's words, it sounds like he himself isn't sure if there's any food in the house. Best to risk it and go outside. You tell him your decision. Top choice, buckaroo! It was literally the top choice. Foraging is how I while away most of my time, after all. There's just one small matter to trouble the old brain power. If we're venturing out into the unknown yonder, we should obtain some chow for my Lucius as well. He'll be a real grumpy Gustav if he goes too long without his nosh. You draw yourself up proudly. It's taken a lot of bizarre run-ins and harrowing close shaves, but you know all about Lucius's. You inquire about, Gustav, was it? Ha ha, what a cod you are. No, my Lucius. I call him the Canary. He whips out a photo. It shows a smaller version of himself, his horns nothing but stubs, a far too big pair of aviator goggles slipping off his nose. Standing behind him is a large white fowl, big scraggly wings folded back against its body. You want to say it's an emu? It's a flightless bird. The guy who wants to fly has a flightless bird as a Lucius. That's great. It's perfect. Its beak touches the top of your pal's head with something that might count as affection. He's not a persnickety sort. All kinds of bugs and leaves will tickle his fancy. Shall we away? Shall we greet the horizon that rushes forward to meet us with astonishing grace? Shall we give ourselves over to the current of time's great river? Sure, you tell him. You can leave the house. It's getting a little easier to pay attention to only the words this guy says that actually make sense. You kind of enjoy his way of speaking, though, and so do I. This is a fun accent to do. I'm butchering it horribly, I know, but it's still fun. If nothing else, it gives you the feeling that he is really excited about this food quest you're going on together. Your alien pal leads you back down through the pulley system and outside again. The trip is not so easy on your bruised ribs. The thing about walking is, when you walk, your body moves. You've had better times, is all you're saying. You indicate as much to your companion. Oh boy, I hear ya. Moving while attached to the surface is the worst kind of hooey. The moment when autonomous flight is invented trembles ever closer to the present. Can you hear it approach? The wail of a distant klaxon, the call to adventure. It beckons us forward through the years, our golden thread stretching ever down onward to that glorious inevitability. That's not what you meant, but his excitement cheers you up a little. Maybe you will feel better in the future, when somebody invents flight on this planet. Certainly by that time, you'll either be further along on your healing or dead. Either way, thinking about that future brings a little rosy glow to your heart. You ask your buddy where you're going next. The world is our balaclava sea critter. Bellavacular sea critter. We'll go wherever the wind calls our names. Great. But if it's a short-term answer you're inquiring after, there's a specific plant the canary likes to eat. It's got white petals and leaves as red as a troll's most lurid desires. Could you give a holler if your bulbs fall on anything of that persuasion? You agree to keep an eye out. You continue trudging along beside him, wincing whenever your steps jolt your injuries. Maybe a little conversation will help distract you. You ask your new friend what's got him so interested in flying in the first place. What could be better? Up there, free of worldly concerns. The wind in your face and the horizon at your back. Seeing the continents spread out below you. Finally feeling that your personal aesthetic is appropriate for the given circumstances. You chew over this for a minute or two. It seems like that really makes this guy tick as the travel and adventure thing. Or maybe that's just what you're getting from his general demeanor, and pretty much everything he's said up till now. You're nervous to bring up anything that might make him dislike you, but in the interest of bonding, you forge ahead. Aren't there, you say with apprehension, maybe some similarities between flying and space travel? Like maybe being in a spaceship could satisfy some of those urges? What? There may be some superficial similarities to trick the common troll, but in essence, the blood pusher and the soul of each is different as night and day, as a mountain in a ditch, as a star in a mud puddle. Don't get a fellow wrong, space travel's fine. Well, it's the only way to satisfy our bloodthirsty and nearly immortal overlords. And I look forward to such a time when I can be of service in the eternal millstone grind of intergalactic conquest. But it's missing the punch, the pizzazz, the kaboom, the trunk-beast honk of it all. Just as you'd feared, you've stepped in it now. You're struggling for a response when out of the corner of your eye you spot a cluster of white flowers. Relieved, you point them out to your companion, who races over to gather them, but when he holds one up, you can see it has blue leaves, not red. Your shoulders droop. Seems like all you're doing is disappointing your buddy, who's been so nice to you. Or at least that's what you think you've read between the lines of his confusing speaking style. Fear not, my smooth-headed compatriot. These are not the luscious rations we sought. But this plant is people chow. What I mean to say is we can eat it. Since we are people, it's food for people, not food made of people. Although we could find that on this planet too, I'm quite sure. To be clear. He comes back with a fistful of the flowers and hands you one of the blue leaves. You're not at all sure that food that's safe for your buddy will be safe for you as well, but at this point you don't have much to lose. Besides, with the way your stomach is grown, it might as well be a perfectly seared steak. You put it in your mouth. Chewing the leaf, you feel even more affectionate towards the guy than before. You were worried this trip was just turning into an excuse for him to run some kind of household errand, but he really did find you something to eat. You are desperate to find some way to show him that you understand his interests, but you want to connect with him on a deep soul level. Anything to get him to look at you with that treasure glow of friendship in his eyes. Whenever he mentions space travel, he talks about how it's something that he has to do, some kind of necessary obligation. So maybe there's a reason he's fixated on an activity that's kind of similar, but just a little different. Maybe he doesn't want to do the required thing, the space conquests. He does have it in him to rebel entirely all the way, but he doesn't have it in him to rebel entirely all the way. Maybe airplane flight, or whatever similar thing he is envisioning, is a compromise between what he has to do and what he wants to do. A balance. like all must find, in order to live as an individual in a society that shapes one's desires from birth. You cautiously open your mouth, heart pounding. You venture to ask your pal if he maybe would rather not satisfy the demands of the bloodthirsty overlords. Okay, here we go. We're getting into the... If maybe part of him wants to get into his real flying machine and leave. For real. That's... He seems taken aback. Maybe you should never have said it. What a huge mistake. You've probably pushed his friendship out of your reach for good now. Panicking, you point to the side, yelling that you see a big field of white flowers in that direction. Your potential friend leaps to action, seemingly also glad to be given a reason not to answer this question. He races forward in the direction you indicated. In a matter of seconds, there's a yelp and your new acquaintance vanishes. Instantly, you realize your error. You didn't look where you were pointing. Oh no! What? While walking, you unwittingly came close to the edge of a large cliff. What the? Which your companion has now disappeared over. This is Tavros! What the heck? This is Tavros all over again. What the hell? You race to the side, your stomach flooded with fear. This is absolutely the opposite of what you wanted. You look down in horror. Your new friend now looks approximately how you felt when you first crash-landed on this dark planet. I'm not even trying to be VRISKA, and I did the VRISKA. Fly, Poopa. Once again, I am VRISKA, without even meaning to. This is the first path I went on, too, so I really just... Alright, you look... Fly, Poopa. Fly. He's conscious, his face frozen in shock, but one leg is twisted underneath him in a nasty way. You may not be familiar with his alien anatomy, but you're almost positive it shouldn't look like that. You call out to him in distress. Sure, he's going to castigate you for your mistake. The strangeness of his language won't make it hurt any less to lose this guy's trust forever. What-ho! Kaloo! Kalay! His voice floats up from the ground below, weak but somewhat jovial? Is it possible he's not angry? Oh, joy is happening! Oh, delight for the body and the spirit. Oh, is he happy that he's too broken to be a spaceship pilot now? Did you see? Or is he just happy that he got to fly Pulpa? Did your being absorb what occurred before your very visions? I flew! Sure. Sure. Soared through the air. Just for a moment, but it happened. An ecstasy like none I've ever known. You hesitate. Is it really possible that he could be taking this so well? That maybe your big fuck-up was a step in the right direction after this? It's definitely a little worrying to hear him celebrate a dangerous fall, but none of that matters if you can secure his friendship at last. My strange associate? Come on down here. We will celebrate in grand fashion this eve. How did you know? And a brief sojourn through unfettered air would bring me such joy. He fell with style, does it count? Did not manage to miss the ground. You're a fine fellow. And truly, a truly superb friend. Your heart lifts with joy. He said it. Of course, you now have to find some way to climb down the cliff with your messed up ribs, not to mention figuring out how to transport someone with a broken leg back to his house. I'm not really sure if that's possible, or when the adrenaline that's got you this far will give out and force you to succumb to your own pain. But with a night full of difficulties ahead of you, you couldn't ask for a better balm than knowing that you faced them hand in hand with your friend. Assuming he didn't hurt his hands as well. No matter, you didn't! Victory! How the hell did I pull it off? I intentionally picked the wrong choice twice! That was the good end, I know! Like, and 2 of those 3 choices were me picking the incorrect choice on purpose. if for once being VRISKA apparently just got me in the right direction. Okay, well, it's like now we gotta go back and see what the failure routes look like. Because, like, how the hell did that... Okay, well... So that happened. Doing the wrong thing is the favorable result. Because, again, like, I really had no idea what to expect from this third option, you know, going out versus staying within the hive. But with both of these first two choices, I really did think I was picking the wrong answer. So I guess let's go back and see where those routes lead. So people just aren't cut out for failure. I like that. I like that spin on it. Tell me you love spaceflight. Well then, we are in total agreement. Two kindred souls traveling hand in hand in a glorious but inevitable feature of conscripted service in space. Which, as I've already made clear, is a thing I most definitely and pestilently desire. Pestilently desire. No idea how to pronounce that word. Never seen that word before in my life. So, it seems we have nothing more to discuss. Toodaloo. Toodaloo. Alright. MSPA Raider is just as confused as I am. Okay, and failure number 2. Tell them airplanes exist. I brought you here to show you my truth, and you treat me to mockery. An airplane? A plane that floats in the air? Flying machines are a serious business. I think you should leave. Well, that was it. At least that was a quick game over. Love how in both of those failure screens the MSPA Raider just looks confused. To quote another video of someone who played this, he just toodalooed the fuck out of you. Indeed he did. Alright, and this one should probably be the meteor game over, right? Stay in the hive. And see what happens. Tell him any food he has in the house will be fine. Surely staying here will get you fed more quickly. No problem at all, my fine fervent fellow. However, I believe two kindred souls, such as ourselves, have more ways of communicating than mere words alone. I think I'm grasping the meaning behind your request. Oh no. The signal from your transmitter is pinging my cranial orb's receiver. I can see that you're truly after is food for the soul. You definitely meant food for the body. You look for an opening where you might gently correct your new buddy, but he seems to be working himself up to say a lot more things. The delectable nutrition of what the troll's truest being craves. The sustenance of thought, of imagination, of desire. That which nourishes the self better than the finest of grub noodles. Art, passion, science. You might have a hankering to see my flying machine design sketches. Despite your troubles, you can't help but think his enthusiasm is kind of sweet. You nod weakly. You make one last attempt, indicating that food might strengthen you to fully appreciate his work. No need to worry. I am fully confident in your abilities to take in my glorious blueprints. You have shown yourself to be quite the sturdy noggin and a discernible gander bulb. I would welcome your input. Warmth blossoms in your stomach. It feels nice to hear him compliment you. You're not sure what you've actually done to earn his praise, but you definitely don't want to ruin this now. Maybe seeing his designs will be fun, even on an empty stomach. Maybe it really will nourish you on a level that will help you forget about the prosaic, earthly nourishment you thought you wanted. You tell him you're in. Not so fast! That which I am planning to reveal to you is what I keep closest to my torso pillow. It's not that I don't trust you, my footloose and horn-free cohort. I think I would like to trust you a little more before vivisecting myself, and displaying my bleeding organs before your penetrating gaze, which is a metaphor for exposing my portfolio. Might I trouble you to participate in a small trust trial? No problem, you tell him. Your bud insists on making himself comfortable while he gets a few supplies. After a few minutes, he returns with a fistful of fabrics in different colors. Here's what I've been bouncing around the old brain box of mine, buddy-o. I'm going to tie this blindfold around your face. Then I'm going to give you some instructions. And you're going to try to locate the case where I keep my treasured sketches. And if you can find it, it's gotta mean we trust each other deeply. Like two wings working in unison to achieve liftoff. If that's how wings work. I'm still figuring out the principles of the matter. What a womp. What a romp. Are you up for it? It's too late to turn back now, and really you don't want to. It's kind of a relief to have him tell you what you can do to earn his friendship in plain terms. I kind of want this to end with him, like, falling out of a trapdoor into the ground below. Well, as plain as this guy's terms ever get. You give him a thumbs up. Now we're on the trolley. He quickly ties the fabric around your face. The time is upon us! Time for the inaugural flight of our deepening bond. Time to nudge our fledgling companionship out of the nest and see what happens. Your new friend starts to direct you around the room. To the left, to the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. Okay, it's really hard to do Beyonce and that accent at the same time. No, my left. Sorry, okay, I meant your left. And now onward to the glorious future that lies before us. You smile weakly, doing your best to follow his instructions. He sounds happy, so you must be getting somewhere. In this ending, you're the one who falls off a cliff. That's kind of my guess. That's what I'm leaning towards at the moment. Almost to the doorway. 3 steps forward, if you would be so... Wait! Crash. You stagger backwards from the impact. You hear yourself wheeze. The shock has totally knocked your lungs out of commission. Your chest jerks in tiny contractions as you gasp for air. Oh, beans. Ding dang darn it. There's no pain, just an intense pressure focused on the center of your face, right around where you ran into something face first. You pull at the blindfold and you hear footsteps, which probably means your new friend is rushing over to help. He gets the blindfold untied and his face swims into your vision. He looks utterly gobsmacked. Why, I'll be a horned beast grub food. Everything copacetic, new pal? You put your hand to your face and touch something wet. Sure enough, when you pull your fingers away, you're covered in blood. Your nose isn't gushing or anything, just sending out a couple of rivulets so that you know it's having a bad day, so it's not all bad. You tell your new acquaintance this, but he doesn't look any less horrified. Shivering Okay, gonna have to take a minute to get it. Stratacumuli. Shivering stratacumuli! All this time I've been testing you, to see if I could place the tender gift of trust in your declawed little hands. And here you've bestowed upon me the greatest trust of all. Knowledge of your non-standard hemorrhagical attributes. I am truly honored, flabbergasted. Absolutely pushed to the brink of rationality by such a display of faith. Never mind the trust trial, you deserve to see my sketches. Just wait here. Be back in 2 shakes of a baby baby's hindquarters. You sit down on the floor again, wiping the blood off your face. You're not going to question the stroke of luck you've been shown. Why, if you knew bleeding was the key to his affections all along, you could have incurred some blood from the sites of your multiple injuries. But no matter. You sniff the last of the blood back into your nostrils, tasting metal at the back of your throat. When your almost friend returns, he drops a big stack of papers into your lap. You page through the designs. The first few are rudimentary, mostly variations of spaceships with little notes like how to make it not reach escape velocity and less jet fuel, shape could be less aerodynamic. But as you keep going, the designs get pretty interesting. One seems to rely on some big rotating sails to achieve lift. Another shows a light body frame attached to 4 jointed wings. You briefly wonder what he plans to make the wings out of before you see the note stating that these are dragon wings. A follow-up scribble states, "Flapping mechanism? How to soften rigor mortis." There you go. But hang on. You take a closer look at the machine's frame. The guy's sketch is pretty detailed. The frame doesn't seem to be made of wood or aluminum as you expected, but smaller individual shapes lashed together with some kind of cord. Maybe it's just a macrobee aesthetic, but you think it looks like bones? Oh god. This is taking a turn. You look back at the other designs. Now that you look at it, the sails on this one have a texture that might be leather or similar. The sketches themselves are picked out of a variety of colors, not dissimilar from the brand new blood colors you've discovered lately. Oh ho! Oh boy, you've been down this creepy alien road before. Using your lightest, most jocular turn, you question the bone shapes. You soften your words with a big, not freaked out smile. What's that? Well, I'm not a construction professional, you know. Gotta make use of what's available. Only called low bloods and grubs, of course. Not an ounce of insurrectional spirit in this fellow over here. Fear not, unhorned one. These wacky cultural differences, you just misunderstood. You take refuge in your old standby of nodding and smiling. It's none of your business what body parts this fellow uses or doesn't use to make his right brother's transformative fan works. Friends aren't for judging people's use of corpses as construction material anyway. You know, when you crash landed on my planet, I had no idea what to think. Vikare, old boy, you've really shut the balls now. That's what I told myself. Telling an alien about your flying dreams. That's roughly the kitty and no doubt about it. But now we're here and you're having a looky-loo at my sketches? I'm thinking it might have been right for us to join them, to meet all along. Perhaps the work of the capricious Madame Destiny. Surely he's about to say that you're friends. You can almost taste those sweet friendship-affirming syllables coming out of his mouth. You're just seconds away from saying that coveted friend F-word. Or are you? Maybe you've misconstrued everything. You look back down at the sketches. Bones in this one, bones in that one. He says these plans call for the bones of aliens like him, at least if you understood him correctly. But they don't really look that different from the bones you're more familiar with. Your own bones. Your bones, which have already gone through a lot today, and maybe seem to be kind of harvestable in condition, if one were so inclined. You clear your throat. Haha, you say. He's not in the market for these materials right now, is he? Like, right now? The friendly guy doesn't understand your question. You're going to push it. But you do risk a quick glance at yourself, then back at him, then back at yourself, just to see who he's checking out the stuff, so to speak. When you look back at him, he looks aghast. Oops. Heavens, the biscuits! Is that what you think of me? You think I'm the type to start taking people's bodies apart all lickety-pickety? As if there weren't plenty of thoughtlessly discarded rib cages to work with? That's the type of gent you're looking for in these pots? I'm afraid I'm not the type of aggressive hot throb you're after. We can't all be the macho, bloodthirsty, romantic hero type. Ready to whip out our organ harvesting tools at a moment's notice. I thought we could be friends, but now I see you're looking for something different. Oh, so my apologies. I think it's best if you go elsewhere. You want to correct the misunderstanding, but you're not fully sure what the misunderstanding is. This guy doesn't seem to be in any mood for friendship right now. You hang your head. Looks like this is all just a big waste of time. Misunderstood? Oh, he looks so sad. Alright, well, that was a wild ride right there, let me tell you. Madame Destiny, sure. Alright, before we leave off, tell me about this guy's sign. Please tell me he's a space player. I will laugh my ass off if he is a space player. Let's see, here we go. Not looking for a black ROM. Oh, he's a mind player, okay. He is, Torza, Sign of the Revealer. How fitting. Sign of the Revealer. He is a Durst streamer with a, and his aspect is mind. Alright, so that's that. Well, so once again, I'm VRISKA. That was the end of Volume 4. We are going to take a quick break so I can refresh my drink and then move on to Volume 5. See you in a moment. Bye-bye.